Adonis Creed has retired from boxing as a champion and now spends his time training and promoting up-and-coming boxers. When a person from his past reappears, he is forced to come out of retirement. I am not sure what it is about boxing movies, but almost every one that I've ever watched is a highly predictable, formulaic story that I love from beginning to end. Creed 3 is no different. This is the 9th film in the Rocky franchise and the first one to not feature Rocky Balboa. In fact, I'm not even sure that he's mentioned in this film at all. It is a continuation of the story of Adonis Creed, who is the son of Rocky Balboa's best friend, Apollo Creed. This movie, and really the entire series of Creed films, just shouldn't work. But much like Top Gun Maverick, it is able to cash in on the nostalgia without feeling derivative of the source material. The first Creed film rivals Rocky IV for my favorite in the entire series, and while Creed 3 doesn't rank quite that high, it is still probably in the top half of all 9 of the Rocky films. Michael B. Jordan directed Creed 3 as well as starred in it, and this is his first movie behind the camera, and he did a wonderful job. I can't really pinpoint anything that sets his direction apart, but it is a solid effort and I have no complaints. The Rocky films are known for their innovative and hyper-realistic fight scenes. Creed 3 didn't need to reinvent the wheel, but it did try a few things, made them a little different, and the big fights were more surreal and dreamlike than ever. It worked, but I don't think it was necessary. I still prefer the straight boxing matches without those extra flourishes. What makes boxing films so great is the heart of the lead character and the montages of them getting bigger and stronger and preparing for that final climactic fight. Every time I watch a movie like this, I am immediately inspired to get up, lift some weights, do some exercise, and get back into shape. It doesn't last long, but it happens every time. Now, the other aspect needed in a boxing film is a great villain. No one has reached the heights of Ivan Drago from Rocky IV, and that includes Ivan Drago in Creed 2. He just wasn't quite as menacing the second time around. Now, Jonathan Majors plays a great villain in Creed 3. Majors' character is a wild card, a loose cannon, a stray dog. He seems to be a good guy, but also I wouldn't want to turn my back on him. He has lived a life that has forced him to be ready to make some questionable decisions, even if it negatively impacts those closest to him. I was on edge most of the film because I never knew what he was going to do. Now, I've known people like this in real life, and watching this gave me the same feeling as being around those people. But because Creed 3 didn't break any new ground, I immediately knew how it was going to end, even if I wasn't sure some of the plot points that would get us to that end. While there are some events that require major suspension of disbelief, I didn't mind it at all. In order to get the hero and the villain in the ring together, I was willing to believe just about anything. Now, if a movie is entertaining enough and evokes these emotions to make me root for the hero, fear the villain, and want to exercise when it ends, I see no reason to change that formula. Now, of course, there is more to it than just boxing. We get to spend some more time with Creed's wife and mother and his young daughter. While I enjoyed these scenes and I liked all of those characters, I feel like they were there just to kind of stretch out the runtime of the movie. The chemistry between Creed and his family was believable, and I felt the love, but I don't feel like there was much character development. But again, this type of movie doesn't really need that. I do have one major complaint though. Throughout the movie, multiple characters make comments about how Adonis Creed is over the hill. He's too old and too out of shape to step back into the ring. But then they keep showing him with his shirt off, and not only does he look more in shape than I've ever been in my whole life, he looks more buff than my imagination is capable of imagining my body being in. Creed 3 is an entertaining ride full of great characters, and I can definitely see myself watching this again in the future. It doesn't break new ground, but it doesn't need to. It's inspirational and entertaining, and that's all I need. Casually leaning against a Rolls Royce, ice baths, moving airplanes the hard way, punching trees, skull masks and smoke, standing shirtless on top of a hill at sunset, sweaty stomach punches.